we're going to do a knitted cast on with picots and beads. Aren't those pretty? I've been experimenting making little longer picots. I'll show you a little trick to do that too if you want. You're in charge of your knitting on what you want to do. I want these short little nubbies on my particular project that I'm doing with my bluing lace cowl. Anyway, for each picot, there's 2 stitches for each picot. And you'll do a knitted cast on, adding 4 stitches. And that last stitch, we're going to add our bead. With my itty bitty crochet hook. And I'm going to slip it back on there for now. So what I'm going to do, because I like my beads kind of snug so they're not slopping around, this is where it gets a little different. I'm going to slip, usually I would knit that, but I'm going to slip it. I'm going to slip that next stitch too. And I'm going to slip that first stitch that I have the bead on right over that other stitch. So I have 1 stitch here and 1 more here. So I'm going to knit that stitch and I'm going to slip that over. I'm going to bind it off. And then I'm done. Slip that over there. Isn't that pretty? I got another picot. So I'm going to do that one more time. We're going to knit on 4 stitches. 2, 3, 4. And that last stitch, we're going to put our bead on it. Our itty bitty crochet hook. Then I'm going to slip those first 2 stitches over to my right needle. Then I'm going to bind off. And then another thing I want you to do is just cinch that first stitch that you bind it off down just a little bit. That'll keep that stitch from being loosey-goosey. Now your next stitch, we're going to knit it and bind off. And then we're going to slip that stitch over to your left hand needle and you're done. You got 2 stitches and your little picot. Isn't that pretty? Now if you want to make your picots longer, it's just like you would normally. Just do a knitted cast on more. We did 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where I would normally stop, but we're going to do something different. We're going to play a little bit. We're going to do 5 and 6. We're going to do 6. We're going to add our bead. I've had too much coffee or not enough. I can't quite get my itty bitty crochet hook. Oh, got one. Here we go. Going to put our bead on that last stitch that we did there. And we're going to do just like we did before. We're going to slip that first stitch, slip that second stitch, and bind off. And here we're going to just cinch it down just a little bit so it's not loosey-goosey. And then we're going to knit that next stitch and bind off like normal. Knit and bind off. Knit and bind off. See, I'm looking down here at my stitches. These 2 stitches belong to this picot. So that's my first stitch on this picot, and this is my second. So I'm going to slip that little booger back over there. And see, I have a little longer picot. This is 6 stitches. And this is 2. That's all there is to it. But I think for my project, I like the longer picots. I might have to do that in something. My mind is spinning now. What to do? 3, 4. We're going to go back to the short one. There we go. Now here's 4. Grab my bead. The biggest difference is the first 2 stitches you're not going to knit. Normally when I do a normal picot, I would knit it, but I'm not. Biggest reasons is if I did knit it, I wouldn't be able to cinch that bead down like I want. So I slip. Oops, I want to slip it purlwise, keeping those stitches kind of snug. Slip. There we go. Cinch. Knit. And bind off. Slip that stitch back over. Well, isn't that easy? Oh, look at that. You can sure tell the difference. This one's itty bitty, this long, short. Now that'd be different. Look at that. That could be a pretty little edging. Do different lengths on picots. Oh my gosh, the sky's the limit, you guys. Anyway, carry on. Have fun. Look at these. This is a cast on using beads. Pretty.